Do you know what a Mary Sue is? If you're a writer, or if you've just watched any video essays about Marvel or the Star Wars sequels, you probably have at least heard the term. Some of you might even be guilty of creating Mary Sue OC. I know I am. I've made several. According to the Google definition, a Mary Sue is a type of female character who is depicted as unrealistically lacking in flaws or weaknesses. I've made several Mary Sue OCs in my writing career, but today I'm only going to be talking about one, and that one is Zoe the Raccoon. Zoe was my first Sonic OC. I made her almost immediately after reading the Sonic Archie comics for the first time, and that was back in 2019. She was very much inspired by the freedom fighters, particularly Sally Acorn, at least design-wise. At the time, I drew her as a calico cat. In the character bio I wrote for her, I said she was 29, which would have been fine, except that most Sonic characters aren't even legally old enough to drive. So I eventually changed her age to 19 and then to 17. Looking back, I could have kept her age at 29, seeing as there are a handful of grown-ups in the Sonic franchise. I guess I just wanted her to be like everyone else. Oh well, what's done is done. Anyway, I kind of forgot about Zoe for a year, and then in 2020, my Sonic obsession burst in uninvited and consumed my every thought for the next year and a half. During this time, Zoe's design went through many changes. As you can see, I changed her species to a raccoon pretty early on. I think my thought process behind that was I thought a raccoon would be more unique than a cat, seeing as there are several cats in the Sonic franchise. 3 that I can think of off the top of my head. Although there is a raccoon in the Sonic franchise too, so I must have not been thinking about her at the time. Yeah. I should probably take this time to clarify that I don't hate Zoe's design. It's honestly pretty solid and looks like she could fit quite well with the rest of the Sonic gang. But that's not the trouble. The trouble is how I wrote this character. I wanted Zoe to be quiet and mysterious like Whisper the Wolf. I planned to introduce her to the story in a similar manner to Whisper, give her a reserved personality like Whisper, and most of all, a sad backstory. I mean, seriously, what is it with people and sad backstories? Everyone seems to think the more trauma you give a character, the more well written they are. But most of the time, the characters are just all like, oh, my mom died. And it doesn't move the story forward at all. Now, I'm not entirely against giving characters trauma. For example, if the main character of your story is a Vietnam War vet, then obviously he's going to have some trauma, and that will probably affect how he is as a person today. But you just really need to consider the following questions. How important is this detail to the story? How does this character's trauma affect who he is today? Will he overcome this trauma? Things like that. But you gotta be subtle about it. And you can find plenty of characters with trauma in which the trauma is subtle and it's well done, and you can see how it's affected them as a person today without it being super shove in your face. Like, nobody likes a character that just trauma dumps about their sad backstory every time they get a chance. It just gets really annoying after a while. And yeah, Zoe was terrible that way. She was all like, I don't know, but they killed my dad. Never mind, you won't understand. Also, I gave her a cyborg eye, and here's my lovely, award-winning origin story for that. When Zoe was a little girl, her village was attacked and destroyed. She was the only survivor, but her eye was seriously damaged in the chaos. The doctors replaced it with a robotic eye, but during the operation, something went wrong, and now she has teleportation powers. No, it's so bad. I think later on I ended up removing the detail about her having a cyborg eye and her having powers. And I threw that backstory out the window entirely. But you know what else I threw out the window? Giving her flaws. She had none. She just went around rescuing the main cast, being cute and pretty, and being loved by everyone, even Shadow. It couldn't have been all that hard to give her one fault. Maybe I could have pushed her prim and properness further and made the whole joke that she thinks she's better than everyone else, and then, like, she's super snobby, but whatever. You know, at the time that I made Zoe, I watched a lot of Courtney Project S&T on YouTube, and if you've watched her before, you know she loves poking fun at her Mary Sue OC SNT, and I was all like, ha! Oh, that SNT, what a dumb character. I would never write a Mary Sue like that. But then I had Zoe, so... Hey guys, thank you so much for watching and listening to my pointless rant about an OC I made 5 years ago. I wish I could find my old Sonic comic drafts so I could prove just how bad Zoe is. Maybe some other time. Hopefully I didn't throw them in the paper shredder. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to check out my other videos. If you like my art, maybe consider following me on Facebook. I also have a graphic novel that you can buy on Amazon. All links in my bio. Thanks again. Bye! Also, I shipped Zoe with Espio the Chameleon.